Guys, welcome to another video from the channel Learn from Basics. So in today's video, I'm going to show you how to start off if you want to learn programming languages or computer languages. And a good place to start is Scratch. Now, why should I use Scratch? What is Scratch? And how does Scratch work? How do I get Scratch? And all of those questions will be answered in today's video. So without any further ado, let's get right into it. First, why should I use Scratch? Now, that is a really good question. When you want to learn programming languages, it isn't only the code or the syntax you need to learn, but it's also the logical thinking you need to learn in order to program something. And Scratch is a good way to start to develop your logical thinking, because you don't need to focus on memorizing the blocks of code or the syntax, because in Scratch there is no such thing as syntax or any key features you need to memorize. So you don't need to worry about memorization in Scratch. All you need to worry about is the logic and the way you think. And I think that's a big benefit in Scratch, because you develop your logical thinking, which gives you a big boost when you go on to learn other languages like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and other stuff. But now, what is Scratch? Well, Scratch is a drag and drop programming it's a drag and drop coding website that allows you to create simple or complex games or a lot of stuff with fun and interactive coding methods. It's just drag and drop. You drag blocks in and out. But unlike other programs where there's only a limited set of things you can do, in Scratch it's not like that. You can do many things. You can create games, you can create websites. There's a lot of cool things you can do with Scratch. But now, if you're interested to do Scratch or learn Scratch, how? How do I get Scratch? Well, getting Scratch is simple. You go to Google or whatever search engine you use. You type in scratch.mit.edu. And after you're done with doing that, you then create an account. Now, since I already have my account created, I am going to create another account so I can show you guys how to do that. So this is how your page should look like. There are a lot of fun games that other people made for you, and you can play them. It's really fun and you can get inspired. But now, after you play some games that other people made, you want to make your own game. And in order to do that, you need an account. Now, in order to make an account, you click on Join. Then you type in a username. I'm gonna do learn from basics. And then type in a password, anything you want. It looks like this username is already taken, so you can add some numbers like 1, 2, 3. And then next, select the country you live in. And then next, when were you born? And then next. And now what gender you are. You don't have to do this, but your email is, you need to type in your email. So type in your email. And then you should be ready. Click on Get Started. And now this is what your screen should look like. Now, after you do that, you should get a message to your Gmail or your email account. So you should get a message. As you can see, so you should get a message, and if you approve that message, it gives you the rights, or it gives Scratch the rights to allow you to upload your games or whatever you created with the Scratch community. But if you, that's not something you need to do. You can leave that for now and do that later if you want. But anyways, let's move on. Now, in today's video, I'm going to tell you what each of these buttons on the top do. First, let's start off with an easy one. Explore. Now, Explore simply gives you one of the top viewed and liked games in Scratch that you can play to get some ideas, like Journey 2, or yeah, there are a lot of amazing games. And then you can do animations. You can make some animations with Scratch, art, games, music, stories, and tutorials. Tutorials are just simply they can be games or tutorials on how to do something other than Scratch, but tutorials. And now we have studios over here that have the games that all have one thing in common. Like for this one, it has TikTok in common. For this one, it has Quarantine Gym in common. And then you can go to ideas. Ideas is where there are many stuff you can do, and there are tutorials like make a chase game, animate a name, imagine a world, make music, create a story, make it fly, video sensing. So whenever you wipe your hand, whenever you move your hand, then if you have a dragon, then it can blow. Animate a character, Pong game. There are many tutorials provided by Scratch which are awesome you can do. And then yeah. But after you explored all of that, there's another one called About. Now, if you click on About, it gives you some stuff on Scratch and why you should use Scratch, quotes on Scratch, some people that use Scratch that now are famous, and yeah, other stuff like that. And then over here you have an envelope which gives you messages that, like, if there's an update in Scratch, it gives you a message. If there's someone who's following you or someone who followed you, they give you a message. Or if someone commented on your project, they give you a message. Yeah, so that's basically the message place. And then this file is where you store all of your games. So as you can see, this is the only project or game I made. And yeah, we have one over here. Now, how do I make games, or how do I create a project? Well, you simply click on Create. And when you click on Create, it should take some time, but eventually it should be somewhere over here. Or if you have a more updated version, it might look different. But since we have this now, I'm going to discuss all the stuff you can do over here. Now, over here we have some circles. And the circles are categories or blocks that allow your cat or your sprite to do specific things. Like motion, it is all about making your sprite or your cat move. Looks is all about your cat, what it can say. If it wants to say something, you can do say hello. If it wants to switch costume, you can do switch costume, which I will get to costumes. And then change signs by change color. Yeah, there are a lot of different stuff you can do with the looks. Now sound, if you want to play any background music, or if your cat wants to say something that other people can hear, then you can do that too. Excuse me. Events. Now in events, you can do when flag clicked, when space key pressed. It's all about when your cat, whatever code's under here, should start running. And I will get to this too later on in the videos. Control has some important blocks like wait 1 second, repeat 10 times, forever, if then else, wait until, repeat until, stop all, it means it stops the whole program, and when I start this clone, create clone of myself, delete this clone. And again, there are a lot of cool stuff you can do with this, and I'll get to them later on in this playlist. Next, sensing. Sensing has some cool stuff like touch. If the cat is touching the mouse pointer, then you have to do this. Now sensing, you can't use most of the blocks in sensing, you can't use them alone. You either have to use them with the blocks from control or the blocks from operators. But as I said, I will get to them later. Operators is like math operators like plus, minus, times, divided by, pick random number 1 to 10, greater than, less than, equal to, and, or, and not, and then join apple, banana, letter 1 of apple. Yeah, there are a lot of cool stuff to do with it. And then variables, if you don't know what a variable is a container to store data or numbers in this case. You can make a variable, you can use the variables, and there's a lot of cool stuff. And then the most interesting part of Scratch, which is the most you can find this in the updated version of Scratch, but it's make a block. You can create your own block, like add input boolean means true or false, and then what does your block do? So yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff to do, but we're gonna get to that later. Now, since we know all of these categories, let's look at the next part. Now we have three parts in this subcategory: code, costume, and sound. Now in code, as I said, you have all of these subcategories again that allow you to make your cat do some cool stuff. But in costumes, it's all about the looks of your cat. Now if you want your cat's head to be over here floating for some reason, then you can hit the arrow or mouse pointer type of button over here, and then you can click on something and you can move it away from the cat like that. I can move the arm away from the cat, and then I can move the head a bit up from the cat, then I can move the body a bit down, and I can move the legs. So yeah, you can rotate the legs. There's a lot of stuff you can do with the Scratch with these buttons over here. And then the next thing is gonna be this. Now the select or curve button helps you to make lines curved. So as you can see, I can either make this line curve a lot, or I can make it straight. As you can see, I can make it straight. But most people don't use this because it's really hard to use. But yeah, you can try it out if you want. And then after I have it like I want it to be, we have a paint button. Now you can click on fill, and if you want your cat like the ears to be pink, then you can choose pink, and then you can color the ears pink. And if you think the paintbrush is too big or too small, then do you know where it says 10? You can change it to 5 or 50. So yes, you can do that. But what if you want your whole cat's head to be pink? I mean, isn't it hard to color everything? An easier way to color the whole cat's head pink is the bucket tool. Now, if you click on the bucket or fill tool, then you can click on fill again, and you can change it to whatever color you want. And if you hover over something and it turns pink or whatever color you want it to be, and if you like it, you can click and it's going to stay there. But if you don't like it, then you can just simply hover like off it, and then it's back to normal. But if you like it, as I said, you click and it turns pink. And now here's a really cool thing that you can do with the fill. Now, if you click on the fill tool and then the fill box over here, there are 4 types over here, and 2 gradients and 1 circle thing. Now, this gradient goes from left to right or right to left. This gradient goes from up to down, and the outer color is like this, and the inner color is this. As you can see, I have a different color over here and a different color over here. I can make a gradient using this. If I want it to be left to right or right to left, I can do that, and I can change the colors. And as you can see, it's a gradient that goes from left to right or right to left. And if you want a gradient that goes up to down, then you click on this. And now there's a gradient that goes from up to down. Now we have our cat colored like we want it. But I think this is just too high. I want to erase this part. How do I do that? You click on the eraser over here, and then you can simply erase that whatever part you want. And the good part is it also gives you an outline like that. See, it's curved. And then if the eraser is too big, as I said again, you can make it 4 or 100 if you think it's too small. And as you can see, there's a circle in the middle of his face. But now we erase the part we want. But I want my cat to say hello, but I don't want to code it. I want it to say hello wherever it goes. If I want to write any text over here, I click on the T, and I click on where the text has to be, and then I type in hello or whatever I want, and then we have it over here. And now, as you can see, we have hello over here, and wherever I drag the cat, the hello follows. But what if I want to make a line? Well, I click on the line tool, and I drag the line however much I want. If I want to make the line thicker, do you know where it says 1? You change it to whatever number you want, and you experiment. And as you can see, the line becomes thicker. And you can make some cool shapes using the lines. You can see I made some cool shapes using the line. And now we know how to make a line. We know how to use lines. And imagine I want to make a square or triangle. I mean a rectangle. But isn't it going to be sloppy because human error? Yes. How do I make a perfect rectangle? Well, you just simply click on the square tool and you can make a perfect rectangle. And the outline is what color the outline is. I can change it to red. And the fill is what color it's inside. I can change it to blue if I want. And now, as you can see, we have a rectangle over here. Now, what if I want a circle? Well, you click on the circle button over here, and you can make a circle. And again, the outline is the one on the out, and the fill is whatever color is inside. And if you don't want any fill, then you can click on this over here, and if you don't want any outline, you can click on this over here, and there's no outline. But yes, that's how you do the outline or the fill. Now, our last thing. Yes, that's mostly it for the costumes. Now let's move on to sounds. Now there's not that much that you can do with sounds, but yeah, it's still there, and you can upload music if you want as a background music, and you can change it. Like if I want to record something, I click on record, and then I click on this, and I can say something like, hey, and stop recording, and then I can trim how much ever part I want. And then I have to click on save. I didn't, so it didn't save, but let's do that again. My name is Joe. Hi. Now click on that, save, and now if I let's do that again. My name is Joe. And then I can make it faster. Let's do that again. My name is Joe. Faster. Let's do that again. My name is Joe. Faster. Or I can make it slow. I can make it faster. Let's do that again. My name is Joe. And now I can make it louder. Let's do that again. My name is Joe. Softer. I can mute, which I don't know why you would want to do. I can do a fade in. Oh, since I muted, there's not going to be any sound. So I will have to record again. Hi, my name is Joe. Now save. And then I can make it fade out. Hi, my name is. I can make it fade. I can make it fade in, or I can make it fade out. Hi, my name is. I can make it go the opposite. And I can sound like a robot. And as I said, I can make it louder as I want. Yeah, So you can do many cool stuff with the sound, and you can copy it and you can paste it again. You can select stuff, copy, paste. Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff that you can do with the sound thing, and I'll show you how you can implement that as a background music later in our next video. Now, that's mostly it, and this is kind of like, this is the different type of layouts you can have, one for a bigger workspace and one like that. But yeah, that's all the visual stuff in Scratch, guys. But thank you for watching, and don't forget to watch the next video, which I will talk about coding your first program. And yeah, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you guys in the next one. Bye bye.